Okay, time for another Open Mic Reviews Denver edition. So tonight I was at the Shambles, which is right behind me there. This is one that's in RiNo, an area that I'm not sure existed when I lived here, but it does now. Um, or it didn't have that name. I don't remember that. Doesn't matter. It's here. It's here, and now you need to know about it. Okay, so Shambles is on Thursdays. It starts at 7, sign-ups at 6:30, and runs kind of in two phases. Runs from 7 to 10 outside when weather permitting, and then at 10, due to the noise ordinance, goes inside if they need to accommodate the people who have signed up, as they did tonight. Format is sort of 2 songs, 10 minutes kind of situation, and they do a pretty good job of getting good, quick ballpark sound. The sound system is, or at least was tonight, a little bit thin, a little bit lacking. Specifically, they only had one mic at the ready, only one mic stand at the ready. That didn't come into play very much. Most of the people who were here were solo singer-songwriters who just needed one mic, but it did come into play at one point when somebody came up to join in on harmonica, and they had to kind of like pass the mic back and forth. That mic stand was not, as I say, not very happy to be here. It had some adjustment issues. I had some adjustment issues with it. It started sagging in the middle of my first song. This may seem like a little quibble, but it's something to consider, is that, if you have, like, if you're a duet, you may want to consider bringing what you need that is beyond one mic. You may need to bring a second cable. I'm not sure if they had a second cable, if there had been somebody who had a second guitar, for instance. Just didn't become an issue tonight, but I didn't see the gear in evidence, so that's an open question. There's a really strong community here that's really supportive of each other in some ways, and very passionate about this mic itself. Like, this is really built into a very bustling, well-attended, very youthful mic with some very talented players among the attendees. It kind of reminds me of how I feel about like the Shady Pines open mics back in Portland, where there's a lot of people who are out there gigging players who are kind of making time to come on down here and touch base with this community, with their friends, with other like players, and I can see that there's some collaborations that are germinating out of these friendships, out of these this camaraderie. That said, I do have some things that I did not care for, that didn't work well for me tonight. That I while my overall impression is positive, it's a pretty good open mic. If you like the format, you're gonna get a pretty good shot here. Thing number one, the sign up is supposed to be at 6:30. I got here at 6:30. The list was basically full. One slot left, which I took, which was at the end of the 18 slots that are listed on the list, which, if run extremely tight, would take us exactly to 10 with 10 minute slots. 3 times 6 times 10 being 180. 18 times 10 minute slots. So in terms of like the sort of list management, the sort of the equitable list management, if it's going to be that stacked, I want to see it be kind of orderly. And this was also something I kind of encountered over at the Corner Beat earlier this week, where if it's going to be that stacked, I really want to see some legitimate attempts at regulating the fairness of the list. Whereas here I felt like there was quite a lot of signing a bunch of people up, like one person coming in and signing 6 people up. I'm not sure if it was 6, but one person coming in and signing several people up. I know this for a fact. One of the people who arrived with me at the same time as me, it looked like there was one slot left, and I was like, all right, well, buddy, it looks like there's just one slot left, and you were here a little bit before me, so it's all yours. And he's like, oh no, he like looks at the list and, oh no, it looks like someone already signed me up. So the regulars are maybe looking out for each other, part of that camaraderie. But if you're new to it, get here good and early. I think before 6:30. Be here right when the hosts arrive to make sure that you kind of advocate for a slot for yourself. My biggest issue was not with the, well, I'll say this, that and I know this is getting long, but this was important to me, and I thought a lot about it as the night went on. There's a little bit of a culture of distraction that I did not like, and I felt like it was coming from several different places. One of which, in all honesty, was the hosts. There was something that was said right at the beginning, kind of explaining the rules of the road for this open stage, where the host said something to the effect of, I know we all want to chat with each other, and that's fine. That's part of why we're here, is to chat. But so long as you come up with your guitar in tune, that's what's really important. If you don't come up with your guitar in tune, I'm going to make you tell a joke. That part is fine, but it's okay to chat. Now, I would contrast this with the rules of the road that were given, again, at the corner beat, another very crowded open stage, where there was a very clear expectation, that this is a listening room, this is a listening environment. And I think that's really important. And personally, I think that that's how it should be, that you should have a culture of supporting each other through listening. To kind of create a permission structure where that's not required of you, or that's not expected of you, I think is a little bit of a problem from my point of view. And I felt it. There were several artists where it just like, you feel like they kind of were up there and the audience was a little disconnected from them. I felt it up there when it was my turn, that there was some engagement. There were people who it's something that I have some strategies for dealing with it, for kind of putting myself in the headspace of it, because that happens all the time at real gigs, that people are not, they ain't their job to listen to you, and so. But I kind of expect that at an open stage that the players are going to be supportive enough to kind of tune in, listen. Someone came up to me after my set, like, it may have seemed like we weren't paying attention, but we were listening. And I said, okay, yeah, I know how that goes, thanks. But the truth is, like, that's not an experience that I would come and want to do week in, week out. And then I'm going to say, this is the most important negative thing that I have to say about this. This venue needs to get on board with the fact that they have this absolute goldmine of an open stage that is bringing in, I don't know, 50 to 100 people. The list went like 25 deep. Like, they went way over the 18 that are on the list. They're still going right now, but I have to get back. It's past midnight. Two things that I think this venue needs to get their head on straight about, that I find unacceptable. First is that when the music was out on the patio, the house music inside was still on and still audible from the patio. That is the most unsupportive thing. Second, when the music moved back inside, the house music remained on for about a song worth of the first performer inside, which is beyond unacceptable in a small room like that. And then the TVs, which it's distracting enough to have sports on, the TV that was most visible in the room got switched to the Terrifier, which is a shock horror movie. So there's people who are singing while just opposite them on the wall, creepy clown, creepy haunted clown is sawing somebody in half. Like, I can't imagine what the thought process was to that. Like, that is the worst distraction I have ever seen in any gig I've ever played. Certainly in the open stage. That's unacceptable, frankly. And so, like, I would say that kind of adds up to somebody's got to, like, shake the combined organism of the venue management on down, and just say the number one thing that's going wrong with the open stage, and there's a lot that's going right. It's very popular. It's so popular that they mentioned that they've stopped advertising it, and good for them. You know, what a great problem to have. But nonetheless, I'd say, hey, I won't come back to this one simply because of that. Like, that was insultingly unacceptable to me, that those kind of distractions were allowed to continue. It's so intuitively obvious that's just offensive to think, disrespectful. It really is the right word for it. That's just completely disrespectful to the people who are coming and making this a busy night for this venue. They should be completely welcomed in, completely supported from venue management on down. And I felt like there was this culture of a little bit of, there's a culture of distraction at the very least, and disrespect to some degree. So it's kind of a mixed review. It's a very good open stage in many important ways, and it's a very good community, and there were some excellent players, but it rubbed me completely the wrong way, the distractions that were evident throughout the night, and the permission to have that. And so for me, I won't come back. I wouldn't imagine that I would come back to this one unless that were changed. But I know that I have some friends here who swear by it, who consider this one of the best in town, and I can see why they think that. I can see why they I can see what they like about it too. So on the one hand, on the other. All right, I know it's a long one, but strong feelings. Till next time, see you at the open stage.